Hello, it's your favorite sports Unc here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the fastest growing community on YouTube. Remember, Nightcap doesn't happen without you. So please subscribe or you're going to make Ocho cry. The Mavs beat the Thunder in game 2. Luka Doncic, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. If I'm not mistaken, I think P.J. Washington also had a career high with 29 points. Yep. And in the third quarter, Tim Hardaway Jr. came off the bench, hit several threes to kind of break the game open, and they cruised from there. Luka was, what was Luka? 29 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, three steals, 52% from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. Tim Hardaway Jr., he came in off the bench, 17 points, 60% field goal in just 19 minutes, and that was the difference in the ball game. Yeah. P.J. Washington had 29 points, 11 rebounds, 7 made threes. First player with 10-plus rebounds, 7 made threes in the playoff games since Steph did it in the NBA Finals. And that was what they really need because Shai just had an unbelievable game also. Almost had a triple-double, but the Mavs go on the road and take home court away from the OKC Thunder, winning game 2 in a very hard-fought ball game. Yeah. Ocho, you watched this ball game. What did you like about what you saw?
I mean, well, first off, the head of the snake. The head of the snake hadn't been playing well. Kyrie had been playing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. The head of the snake, as I like to call it, your two-headed monster and Kyrie and Luka. Luka hasn't been shooting well. He didn't shoot well last game, but he came in this game and he started off hot. He started off fire. He caught himself into a rhythm, and obviously Kyrie did what Kyrie did. But the emergence of P.J. Washington having the game that he had, I think made the difference. And the bench points that Tim Hardaway Jr. was able to provide is why I think they ran away with this game. And I think it was about the third quarter where they kind of pulled away from it.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of pulled away with everything. But that goddamn Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man, Unc, man, another 30-point night.
Yep. 13 of 24, 1 for 3 from the three-point line, 12 rebounds, 8 assists.
No, another 30-point night.
Yeah, but it was but here you got P.J. Washington that was 11 of 18 from the floor in 40 minutes before he fouled out, 7 of 11 from the three-point line, 11 rebounds. You had Luka, he gave you 11 of 22 from the floor, 5 of 8 from the three-point line, 10 rebounds. They went 18 of 37 from the three-point line. They outshot OKC from the three-point line, which was 10 of 18. So in other words, they're plus 24 from the three-point line. And that really was the difference in the ball game. The rebounding was close, but the difference was in the ball game was the three-point shot. And that's normally how it goes. We're going to talk about the Celtics and the Cavaliers. And you see when the Celtics struggle from the three-point line, they struggle. But this was a game that Luka, if you watch Luka early, and if you noticed early, he came out looking for his shot. He's like, I'm looking for, and he's the type of player, and most of these great players are. If they see a couple of those early shots go in, you got hell on your hands. Yeah. Because you got to hug up on him because you're worried about him shooting the three. And then he has the ability to put the ball on the floor and go by you and finish at the rim. Not dunking the ball, but he has tremendous English. Plus, he got the mid-range, he got the float game. So he has a bag, he has an array of shots that he can pull out of his bag and make you pay. But he got it going early. PJ got it going early, but it was Tim Hardaway Jr. in that third quarter that really gave them the separation that they needed. And every time they would make a run, OKC would make a run, Ocho, Tim Hardaway Jr. would hit a big three-point shot. They almost had a loose ball. He gets it. Lou Dort tries to get it from him. He fakes it like he's going to pass it to Luka. And as the shot clock's running down, he cans a three in the corner. And from that point on, they really, I think the closest they got it after that point was maybe 8 points. They seem to have really never struggled from that point on. But give the Mavericks credit. They showed you something. That is a very tough building to play in. That's a young team. They feed off the crowd. And every time the Thunder made a run and got the crowd back in it, Luka, P.J. Washington, somebody made a big shot. Somebody made a big play to suppress the run and stymie it. And so now they go back 1-1. That's all you can hope for. You go on the road. Yeah, you'd like to win 2. But if we can get 1 and still home court, now we get to go home for 2. Let's see if we can go back to OKC up 3-1. But give OKC Thunder credit. Now, they're not going to go away lightly. They're not going to go away. There's a reason why they had the number 1 seed. There's a reason why Shai Gilgeous all year long was in the MVP discussion. And, they got Jamal Williams. They got the Williams boys that can make shots. But give the Mavs credit for going on the road. But I'm not here to count the OKC out because I don't believe they're going to go down without a fight. I still believe this is going to be a long series.
I think what OKC has to do is they have to find the consistency in their players. You already know what you're going to get from Shai. If we can get Williams, Shai. I'm sorry. We can get Williams, Giddey, and Holmgren on the same page of consistency, night in and night out. When they're playing, I think it can make this series much tougher, as opposed to, because you already know Luka and Kyrie are going to do what they do. So you have to match wits with their two-headed monster or 3, depending on what Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming off the bench, or depending on how PJ Washington is playing. You need your 3 to play just as well as theirs is to make the series very interesting, and not it just Shai Gilgeous leading the way all the way. Somebody has to take that pressure off of him.
Well, because here's the thing, Kyrie didn't play particularly well tonight, and he didn't really need to because PJ picked up the slack. So the points that PJ gave you is what Kyrie would normally give you.
Right.
But so when you get PJ giving you 29, you got 13 from Daniel Gafford. Kyrie only gave you 9 points, but then you get Tim Hardaway Jr. coming off the bench giving you 17, and you get Green coming off the bench going 3 of 5 and giving you 11. And so that was the difference. And so what happens is if one of your key guys doesn't perform like he normally does, and we normally what Kyrie normally gives you, that means somebody else has to pick up that scoring slack, or someone's or others have to pick up the scoring slack. And that's what you need. On the road, if you can get your auxiliary players, your role players to step up and contribute, it's going to be, you're more apt to, especially if you get Luka, one of the other guys playing well. Luka was very efficient tonight. He shot over 50% from the floor. He was over 50% from the 3-point line. He gave you 10 rebounds, gave you 7 assists. We knew that he wasn't going to play in game 2 as poorly as he played in game 1. And so when you get that kind of production, you got that kind of production from him, you got that kind of production from PJ. Daniel Gafford gave you 13. He only took 6 shots. And you got Hardaway and Green, I think Josh Green coming off the bench, combining to give you 28. And they shot what? They shoot 10 of 14 from the floor, and they shot 5 of 9 from the 3-point line. You get that kind of production on the roll from role players.
Yep. You're gonna be all right.
You're gonna be doing real good. In a stunner of the night, the Cavs did a better job of making life harder of Jaylen Brown. He was 7 of 17. Jayson Tatum was 8 of 17 in game 2, but it was Spider Mitchell. He gave you 29 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. He was 5 of 7 from the 3-point line. He was plus 36. And plus minus, only Jalen Brunson has scored more points in the postseason. Donovan Mitchell over his last 4 games, he's giving you 38 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists on 51-40 shooting. Evan Mobley gave you 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He was plus 35. He's the youngest Cav player. Since LeBron James with a 20-10-5 in a playoff game. Karis LeVert chipped in on the road. He gave you 21 big points, 6 rebounds, and they outscored the Celtics. They outscored the Celtics starters in the fourth quarter. You see, the Celtics are a 3-point shooting team. Now, though they didn't get up the normal amount of threes that they got up, they normally get up. When the threes are falling, they'll shoot you out the gym. But when they're not falling, they get blown out. They get just like what the Heat did to them. Remember what the Heat did to them in game 2?
Oh, yeah, game 2. Yeah.
Because the Heat threes were falling, the Celtics threes weren't falling. Same thing happened tonight. Do I think the Cavs are going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series?
Yes.
I don't. But they did make it a lot more interesting because a lot of people thought it was going to be a 4-0.
Yeah, a sweep. I mean, listen, this is what you have to do. Again, the supporting cast with Donovan Mitchell, Struss, LeVert, Garland, if they can just keep the games close, because you never know the type of night that the Celtics are going to have. We know they can shoot you out of gym. We know what Jaylen Brown could do. We know what Jayson Tatum can do. If you can just continue to match their point output as consistently as possible and be efficient from the field and challenging them on every shot. and not allow them to get any easy shots off, I think they have a chance. Maybe not to win the series, but at least to make it close enough to where people can say, oh, it's going to be 4-1. It's going to be a 4-1 series or whatever it may be. Nobody is given, if you're a gambler man, if you're a bet man, nobody's giving the Cavs a chance to win this series. Not even you.
No, I'm not. No. Because the thing that I love about a 7-game series, because in football, sometimes the best team doesn't always win.
Yeah.
The team that plays the best on a given Sunday or Saturday or Monday or Thursday, they'll win.
Right.
But I got 7 games. Normally in a 7-game series, if the bad calls or poor shooting happens early enough, you could overcome that. Now, in a situation, if it's a game 7 and you shoot poorly and it's a 3-3 ball game, you're not going to overcome that. But if it's early in the series, normally a 7-game series, the better team will overcome that. But you look at the production that they got on the road. They had 6 guys that scored in double figures. All 5 of their starters for the Cavs had double figures. And you get Karis LeVert coming off the bench, giving you 21 points. And so when you get that kind of production from Donovan Mitchell, he gave you 29 on plus 50% shooting. Darius Garland didn't take a whole bunch of shots. He was 5 of 8, 4 of 5 from the 3. He gave you 14 points. Akuru, he gave you 12 points. Evan Mobley, as we mentioned, 21 and 10. Max Strus, he gave you 12 on 50% shooting. They shot 50%, almost 55% from the floor and 46% from the 3-point line. Boston got to do a better job of defending. I mean, you let a team in the playoffs shoot 55% from the floor, 46% from the 3, you're probably going to lose the game.
Yeah. I mean,
Boston before you go, Ocho, Boston was 41% from the floor. They was 33 of 80 from the floor, and they was 8 of 35 from the 3. They always, I mean, you hear Joe Mazzulla talk. He's trying to get up 53s. Well, they're trying to get up 53s. You're trying to make somewhere between 18 to 22 of those. Well, when you only make 8 threes, the Celtics are not beating anybody if they only make 8 threes. That's not going to happen. It's not, because their offense, their team is predicated on taking and making a bunch of threes. It's really that simple.
Damn, Jayson Tatum was 7 for 15. Jaylen Brown was 7 for 17. I mean, hell, let's start with them 2 right there. For one.
Yeah. Well, your big guns got to go off.
Yeah.
Jayson Tatum gave you 25. He was 7 of 17. Jaylen Brown only gave you 19. He was 7 of 17. Derek White was 3 of 11. He had 10. Holiday was 2 of 7. He gave you 4. Al Horford was 4 of 9. He gave you 11. Peyton Pritchard was the guy. He played really, really well. He gave you 13 points on 6 of 10. But outside of that, they didn't really get a whole lot of production from the bench, but they normally don't. They normally don't get a whole lot. Hauser normally comes in and plays pretty well. Occasionally they'll come in and Cornette come in and give them some valuable minutes, but normally Pritchard is the guy off the bench that plays well for them. Right. But right now, Jayson Tatum is struggling. There's no way of putting it. You look at the previous series, he did not play well. And the Cavs to get a road win, considering they didn't even come close to getting a road win. Right. Well, I think game 6 when he hit 50, but I think it's still what they ended up losing. But for the Cavs to come into the Garden and beat them by 24, the Cavs got to take something. We're like, okay, we didn't win not one road game last series against Orlando, and here we are, a team that won 64 games. We still won on the road. So they got to feel good with that.